Let's see why we are not able to load the imagery. Let's look at the GDAL info for this AOI.tiff. This is a 20,000 pixel wide imagery that we have cut it from our source imagery, 60 centimeter data. We have compressed using JPEG with YCBCR color space, and we have this 3-band now. So we have those RGB bands, which we have computed. Now, when you have this heavily compressed high resolution data and you ask any software to display it, it'll say, I need to compress the entire data at that resolution to be able to show you that. So when you zoomed out and you say, I want to see the full data set, it has to decompress all of those 20,000 times 20,000 pixels and show you at the core native resolution. And this is quite slow for some time. So when you have imagery, especially high resolution imagery, you can speed up this process by computing something called image pyramids. They're also known as overviews. So you take the source imagery and you compute low resolution versions of this data at different resolutions. So you take your source data, you combine 4 pixels, compute the low res version by combining 4 different pixels. So your original resolution would be 60 centimeter. You create an image at 1.2 meter resolution, and that is stored inside the image. Then you take this and you compute 2.4 meter resolution image, and you keep going till you have only 1 pixel left, which is 256 by 256. So now you have this low resolution pyramid. So when you load the image, you can say, I'm zoomed out. I can't even see those 60 centimeter pixels. I'm going to show you the low res version of the image. As I zoom in, I'm going to load and decompress those pixels for that particular zoom level. And that allows you to efficiently zoom in and out of that. So let's learn about this other tool called GDAL Add Overview. This tool allows you to add overviews to any GDAL dataset. And the use of this is very simple. You can say GDAL Add Overview and the file name. Let's see what happens. So I have the AOI.tiff. I can say GDAL Add Overview, AOI.tiff. And now it's going and creating those low resolution image pyramids. There are certain file formats like GeoTIFF, which allow storing those image pyramids within the file itself. So you don't get any extra file. If you have VRT file, you would get a new file called .ovr, which will have the overviews. So if you give somebody the VRT file, OVR file, the OVR file will have the overviews. So depending on the file format, either you'll get a new file alongside the main file, or GeoTIFF will just store this into the image itself. So try out running this GDAL Add Overview on AOI.tiff. This is in section 1.3.5. Just copy the first command. And now let's go and load this into our QGIS. So now we have this AOI.tiff. Load this and you'll see this instantly. Why instantly? Because when you zoomed out, it is not showing you the 60 centimeter pixels. It's showing you a low resolution version of this. As you zoom in, it's loading the pyramids behind the scenes and showing that. And now you can zoom in. As you zoomed in fully, you'll see the full resolution of the data. And now you can explore this beautiful imagery of Napa Valley captured by USDA. We can make it better when you take those low resolution versions, when you take the source imagery and compute this low res version, the default resampling that is used is nearest neighbor. So when you zoomed out, this feels a little blocky. It doesn't feel very good quality when you zoomed out because it was created with this nearest neighbor resampling, and it's not very good quality. If you want to make it a little better, we can specify the kind of resampling that we want to use when we want to create the overviews. So I'm going to remove this from my QGIS and we'll run the second command where say add overviews to my AOI.tiff, but this time use the bilinear resampling. Bilinear is a little better. It'll give you more smoother looking low resolution versions of data. And we can also compress some overviews. Since we have compressed our imagery, let's compress our overviews as well. We'll save some data size. Let's run this. Now you can see this goes much slower because computing bilinear resampling on this data takes time. It takes additional computation. There's also bicubic, which is even better, but bicubic will take a long time. So bilinear is a good compromise between very blocky looking nearest neighbor versus very nice looking bicubic. If you want to kind of have a good compromise, bilinear works much better. You can open QGIS, remove that AOI.tiff, load it again, and you should see significant difference when you zoom out. You'll see this overview is looking much nicer. And as you zoom in, it's much smoother transition to this. So when I do GDAL info on this, now you can see they have the overviews. That means this band has overviews for this size, all the way till this size. So these are the different overviews that are stored within the file itself. And this tells you that this file is optimized. When you create a cloud optimized GeoTIFF, the overviews are created by default. So all cogs have overviews, and that's what it allows you to say, I have this very large data, load this data into QGIS. It doesn't load this 8 GB of data instantly. It just says, I'll load the low res version because you zoomed out. As you zoom in, it's going to fetch the overviews for that particular level. Till you are completely zoomed out, it's going to fetch the source data. One tip, which you'll thank me for, whenever you're working with large files, please add overview. It takes maybe 10 seconds to do this. It's going to save you so much pain when viewing this data, when working with this data. I see this typically when you export something very large from Earth Engine, or you create this very large mosaic. People struggle to view this because it's just so slow. And they say, oh, my QGIS is so slow. It doesn't load the raster, it fails, and it crashes. Just add overviews and things will just go so much smoother. If you go to any raster data, there is an option here, pyramids, and you can compute the pyramid here using QGIS, which uses the GDAL add overview internally to be able to do this. We're done with this processing of aerial imagery. The workflow for processing aerial imagery would be, when you get the data, create an BRT file, get a preview first, look at your tiles. Once you are happy, create a tile index to know where all the tiles are. Maybe select a subset of the tiles. So if you have a very large mosaic and you just want a small region, maybe select those tiles, you know where those are, select those, and then just mosaic those. So you'll save some computation time. After that, you can, if you want to clip it, you can use the GDAL warp tool to do crop to cut line. And then once you have the final file, you can apply compression and create an overview to be able to do this.